Welcome back to American Nostalgia Garage. I'm Steve, and now we're introducing the C4 Corvette. Now, a little disclaimer, this Corvette is not mine. This car belongs to Ryan, one of my closest friends, and you guys have seen him on the channel 100 times. His YouTube channel is Automotive Chaos. He got this car in an unbelievable deal. So this car popped up on Facebook Marketplace for free, believe it or not. In fact, I think originally it was for sale. Nobody wanted to pay for it because it is in disarray, I'll show you. But it ended up being reduced to free, and Ryan, Quick Draw McGraw, was the fastest one to get there, and he picked this thing up. In fact, I picked it up with him. Now, I don't have any film of that because it's not mine or whatever, but let me give you guys a quick walk around of the car. And today we got a swinging engine in this thing. So I'm going to give you guys a quick walk around. Basically, it is a C4 Corvette. It's got some body panels missing and headlights and other lights and things like that. But there's a reason that it's in this state of disassembly. This car was owned by a man not too far from here, where we live here in New York, and he was working on it. It was a prized possession of his, according to his wife, and he actually just painted it in his garage himself. And believe it or not, he did a pretty freaking good job. This came out really, really nice. Yes, it's got some orange peel. Wet sand would take care of that, but this guy did a good job, so he should be proud of himself wherever he is. But he was in the middle of redoing the entire car, so there's no engine, no transmission, the interior's missing, we don't even know where it is. I believe she said that the engine went to the builder that was going to put it together for this man, and when he passed away they forgot where it was or didn't have it, you know, one of those things. Not a real good look for humanity, but it happens. Now this thing came with a lot of parts. This thing's loaded with parts. It's hard to even tell what we really have here. I know we have some headlight mechanisms because I loaded them in here. We've got some other stuff. There's enough to put this car together most of the way, and that's the plan. Not sure what we're going to do with this thing yet. I mean, it's really up to Ryan, but it's going to be a team effort putting it together. But it is going to be a cool car. Now let me show you what we have in mind here. As if a free Corvette isn't enough, Ryan scored this 5.3 that was put together and has very low miles on it. It's supposed to run really good for $200. It's got manifolds on it for a C. It's got Corvette manifolds on it. It's got a new water pump. It's got an ATI super damper, just the hub. Came with some of the accessories. Got a power steering pump on there. We've got a flex plate. It's got some of the sensors on it. And generally, this thing is supposed to be pretty healthy. So that's a win. Not to mention the fact that this engine came with a lot of extra parts. It's got an oil pan on it, but there's another one. Throttle body, 2 intakes. We've got some billet bracketry and some coils and whatnot. Bunch of stock brackets and stuff. Ryan bought these swap mounts for a C4 to get an LS in there. So Ryan's investment right now is basically in some Amazon mounts to make sure that we can get the LS in a C4, and some little odds and ends and things, but basically we got to swing an engine in this thing. All right, well, first order of business is this won't open, so we're going to work on that a little bit. I believe that all the stuff, the hood release inside, is snapped off, so we're going to have a little bit of work getting that open. All right, well, here's the fishing expedition for this. There is a tool for this, ironically enough, probably because I'm sure other people have had this issue before. It's got some lever and a hook on it, and they basically want you to put it in there, turn it into the latch, and then turn it back out to unlatch it. It's a little bit of a headache. So we're going to take some time to mess around with this off camera. That way you don't get all the curses and obscenities, and we'll get back with it. Alright, as you can see, there's one less thing in the way here. Now I just want to demonstrate this for anybody that wants to use this tool or needs to do this action. The way they want you to do is feed this tool in through the side here like this. The hood would normally be here, so you got to feed it in here. Then they want you to rotate it up and over this bracket, and then they want you to leverage the lever out like that against the casing here of the latch. So if you can see it, when I turn it and do the thing that they tell you to do, it opens that latch. So pretty cool little nifty tool, and if you know what you're looking at and how it's supposed to work, I guess maybe it's not so bad. But that took probably about 10 minutes. Now we can actually see under the hood for the first time. Got some stuff taped up over there. Looks like the old harness, which we're probably getting rid of most of. Got, looks like nitrous. Line. Yeah, nitrous line. This car came with a bottle in it, by the way, so little thing that we got for extra here. We've got a power steering pump, and I mean basically it's pretty complete underneath the hood here, and everything seems to be in pretty decent condition. Now we're gonna have to remove a lot of this stuff just to get the engine in there and whatnot, but we've got a blank canvas here now. What I will say is I'm realizing, I should have known this before, the nose of the Corvette is pretty long, which means we're going to have to extend the boom of the engine hoist probably all the way out in order to get it in there. All right, I think we're going to start by getting rid of that harness, get this power steering pump out of the way, maybe do something with these transmission cooler lines. We're going to probably keep them, but we're not going to keep them hose clamped onto the old line like this. Maybe some of the heater stuff we'll get rid of. Probably need to get this rad out of here so we don't crush it. Generally we need to make room, and we're not using a lot of this harness because we're doing an LS. All right, a little bit of rooting around, and we got that harness out of the way. It looks nice and clean now. We've got all the stuff that's going to stay like loomed out of the way, which I basically mean I just shoved everything over the trans dipstick. And now we're going to put these things together and see how they fit in there. Probably get them mounted on our motor over there, and then maybe try to swing this thing in. I took our flex plate off so that we could match it up to our torque converter, make sure all the bolt holes line up. I also needed to take all the bolts out in order to put this hub spacer and adapter on here. It goes on the outside, but I wanted to take that off just to match the bolts. But basically what this does is your flex plate goes on, and then you put this on over that. This bolts on, and then this gives you the torque converter adapter here. So now your 700R4 converter will fit into an LS. Bad idea.
So that fits nice.
Nope, I'm gonna have to do some whittling.
Does it fit another set of holes?
Yep. So this is exactly why we do this. We would have been fighting with it to try to get it in these holes. It turns out the other set of holes, it fits perfectly. So this is exactly how it's going to go on. Now I'm going to put this back on with our adapter, put the torque converter in the tranny, and then maybe we're ready to swing this thing in. Alright, so I got our flex plate and our adapter on there. Now I'm going to give each one of our bolts, which is longer. They do come with this adapter. They're longer to accommodate the spacer itself. Each one of them is going to get a dab of red Loctite, and then we're going to torque them down until I blow a ligament out of my shoulder. So we're both just taking a minute to stare at this thing. I did forget, before it goes over in there, we are slapping a cam in this thing, because why not? There's only one way to do this, and that's to potentially ruin something that runs fine by throwing something unknown in it. But hey, it's a cam. How much could go wrong? There's a lot that could go right, though. So it's got F-body accessories. So we're going to take the water pump off. We're going to take off the super damper hub. We're going to take off the timing cover, and then we're going to just do a simple yoink and stab on the camshaft. I don't know what cam Ryan got for this or whatever, but I assume it's wildly inappropriate for what we're going to do with this car, and it'll probably run like insane or something. It'll be super loud, or it's just going to chop, or it's probably the wrong cam. Tight already?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to push down at the ground. There we go. It doesn't matter. Make sure you want to punch the ground. Yep. Open hand now. There we go. There you go. It's coming. Yes!
What in God's name?
What in tarnation? Here it is. The heart of the beast. I cannot tell you how long it took us to get this off. And I don't want to talk about it. Let's just move on. Alright, here's where we're at. Gotta still get the cam stabbed in this thing. We got the valve train off, or Ryan did. So we're ready to basically line the timing marks up, take that gear off, stab the cam in, put the gear back on, put the timing cover back on, do the oil pan gasket. We could probably do the valve train later, not a big deal. And then we got to swing that thing in there. And we're losing daylight here. It's time for us to get busy. Alright, so you saw me pulling the cam out. After I pulled out the retaining plate, I was able to just throw some bolts into the cam, yank it out. But first what I did is I turned the cam over a couple times by hand, and me and Ryan threw these TIG welding wires through all the way through the lifter galley, and this actually holds the lifters up. So once the cam pushes them back, then you can shove this in there and it won't let the lifters drop down. So a little preventative thing, but the trays are supposed to hold them, but they don't always do that. Now we're going to stab the new heart in this thing and then reassemble. Alright, so you can see we were trying to get the engine in, pulled the bumper off, and that's because the piston on the engine hoist is actually hitting before we can get the engine far enough back to get in there. We're probably going to end up having to take this whole like crash impact zone thing off in order to give us enough room to bring the engine hoist in far enough to get our engine in. Alright, with that tremendous piece of junk out, we should have enough room to slide our engine hoist all the way in and get the engine. So we hit a little bit of a snag. Can't really get the engine far enough back and get the tilt right without taking those mounts off. So I think what we're going to do is put the mounts where they're supposed to be and then lower the engine onto them and then put the bolts in. It might be a little bit of a fight that way, but it might be the only way for us to really do this, I think. I think the right way to would have been to actually do to remove the engine and the torque tube together and put them together and then put them underneath or whatever, but we're not doing that. All right, you can see we're about ready to howl at the moon like Ozzy would. God rest his soul. I'm not crying. Anyway, engine is in, and this thing, I gotta be honest, it looks really cool in here. It was a pain in the butt. Those engine mounts down there were a pain, and we had to actually put them in first, then drop the engine onto them, and then get them threaded on there. Getting the dowels lined up on the transmission in the back was a pain, but it's in there. There is now a 5.3 in a C4 Corvette. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Got an opportunity to help one of my best friends on earth, and actually go check this thing out on his channel. It's Automotive Chaos. Ryan will have a video out there of his perspective of what we did today, and you can follow the future build. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, drop a like below, and as always, thank you guys for watching American Nostalgia Garage.